All right, folks, welcome back tonight. Episode 5 of season 2 of Power Book 2 Ghost. Your usual is here, Nigerian Lucas, and we're ready to get into tonight's episode. But a couple of news things I want to drop really quickly. Now, the first thing is, number 1, episode 6. Next week's episode will not be next week. Look for that episode and I'll review January 9th. Just so you know, let's get that out there right now. The next episode for episode 6 Power will be returning January 9th. The second thing.
Go ahead. I was about to say something. Interrupt you, but go ahead.
To make it very clear for the 1,000,000th time, Zeke is the son of Monet.
No.
And
Stop.
Mecca.
Stop lying. He's talking about Kane. And in this episode, he only mentions Zeke to get into Monet's pants so they could get closer so he could save his real son, which is Kane.
Yeah.
Even when he points it out, clear as day in this episode, they're still going to say, nope, it's Kane.
It's sad. The reaching is sad. And quite frankly, you don't got to hear it from us because I said it last week in the review and folks still wanted to go against the grain with it. But Courtney comes out and does a live each and every Tuesday on Instagram, which she answers that question. Like it's ridiculous when the writer has to answer the question more than once on one stream because people still and it's just and then it's like she's positive about it, which I don't know how she could be so positive.
How about Mecca saying in this episode, "You're gonna let me see my son Zeke"? Like,
not good enough. Not good enough.
How clear do people want it? But again, what I was going to interrupt Major on was, if you see this episode, right? You saw this episode because you're here with us, so clearly you saw this episode. You can't tell a mid-season finale when you see one.
Yeah.
Enough stuff happens here where you knew you are not getting the episode right behind this one.
Yeah.
This is one of those let it breathe type of episodes here.
I'm glad you brought that up too. And just in case you didn't realize, I mean, next week is Christmas and the week after that is New Year's. So why compete with those holidays when you could just push it back?
Ain't nobody going. Well, you know what? Nah, that's weird though. This year, I think for more people, it would have made sense to have it just because Christmas and New Year's Day
are
both on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I know they was probably like, shit.
No.
Like,
but it's fine though because it doesn't even matter because logistically it worked in their hand because the finale goes into
you got to get that finale. I think that was the key part. You have to give a break here.
No. Logistically, it makes sense because the finale of this now ends up being the premiere of
that's
Force.
What I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. By
and that new little recipe that they've been doing because I honestly I didn't think it was a good idea when they first started doing that with BMF. When they did with BMF in this. And they did it with something else.
It started with P Valley.
Yeah, exactly.
It went P Valley into Ghost.
Yeah,
into season 1.
And honestly, I didn't think it was a good idea because I think, like, number one, I think that you're gonna, especially with them coming on at 12 o'clock at night, you know,
you got to pick your poison.
Pick your poison, right? But they've been putting out monumental numbers and doing so it has worked. So. That's kind of the recipe that they want to go going forward.
They like,
hold on. Let me throw one more thing out there because I was about to forget too. Mm-hmm. The other thing, because it's funny the choice of words that you use about letting things play out. I know everybody is really hell bent on the ages of the kids. Courtney Kip said it on the live, and I said it in some of the Facebook groups and whatnot. Folks, let it play out. They're going to address the ages. They're going to address how this all makes sense. You got people, especially folks in our comments last week, which I said I definitely appreciate the comments. I appreciate the love. But you have to understand that page that you all are getting these dates from is a wiki page. Anybody can edit it. It's not. It is not by all means a property of Stars. So therefore. There is no law to what's being said there. That is just folks that are just enthusiasts putting things together.
But to throw those folks a bone, one, I love how they managed to come up with fake ages for all of the Tejada kids. That was hilarious to me. I understand how y'all tried to come up with the age for Zeke, because in the episode when she says it's been 24 years, so y'all immediately said he's 23. If it's been 24 years, he must be 24. Like it has to be. Other than that, the math ain't mathing if that ain't the case, and that's what everybody went off of. But again, this is something you got to let play out, because if they try to trick us and tell us that Zeke is a 24-year-old freshman, I'm gonna have so many questions.
There's nothing to be tricked about, because those dates and those ages mean nothing, because it's not true to the story.
No, remember though, they're not going by. That's what I mean though. But they're not going necessarily by the wiki page. A lot of people are going by Monet telling Mecca it's been 24 years since we've.
People are tricking it. People are tricking themselves. To me, it's one of those type of things, like we said last week. Well, how this and how that? How did the kids not know? I mean, these are all realistic questions
that have to come to fruition eventually.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because you don't necessarily know how the hell they're going to paint this picture.
And Courtney said it best. These are big revelations here, so these things have to play out, which is true.
But Courtney ain't crazy. She know good as well. This is why people watch these type of shows. They don't watch these type of shows to wait for a writer to tell you what's going on. You watch this show to come up with your own conclusion, and then you wait to see how it plays out. That's the most entertaining form of television, is you doing that. You got to do that, because other than that, most people don't want to watch a show week to week unless they can get through that whole week. And I mean, hell, you watched Game of Thrones. Like, how many theories you come up with? That's what power is. The Black Game of Thrones at this point. Yeah, and we got to come up with a theory of what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. Why is Monet with Mecca? Why is Mecca and Lorenzo brothers now? And why are they teaming up against Monet to stop the drug operation? Like, you know how it goes. So I didn't blame them for it. It's just that, think for a second.
My last sign off on this, and then we're gonna get into the episode, is just like, you gotta let things play out. It was just way too much folks trying to come up with, and again, just from the vast amount of comments in last week's review, everybody's saying they're this age, they're this age, they're this age, and like it was literally getting annoying because people were just copy and pasting everybody else's comment. Like, somebody literally took somebody's exact comment and pasted it again, as if like these are the ages. And like, see, anyway, let's get into that.
Hold on. Let me say this. This is what you get from a person who is constantly in the comments. Najir cares. He's there. I popped in for one day. I saw it. I commented, and I skated the fuck out of there, because I know how y'all be in those comments, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. Got to interact with folks. But I definitely still encourage everybody to jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about each and every episode.
Can I say one more thing? One more thing about the comment section, because somebody put it in, and I think we need to address it, because we pride ourselves on the way we do this and the integrity that we do this with. One of our key people who comment on everything, she was going back and forth with Najir about the ages and how not even ages, that he was talking about Kane, not Zeke. And another commenter said, why are you arguing back and forth with them? They've seen the whole season already. Clearly they know what they're talking about.
Let me help you out here.
No. The reason I'm judging it is because we have not seen the whole season. Understand, again, we said it before, when we do these reviews, we watch one episode and we jump into a review. We don't then go back to like watch the next episode. That's not the way we do it. So I just want to say to that commenter, while you are clearly right, we understand that, but no, we have not seen the entire season already, and we are not up this jump then just regurgitating BS while we know everything that's going to happen. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I just had to correct that part, because that part, it was funny as hell, but it was something like, no, that narrative, we don't need that narrative out there that we're watching no season. And then that means we're giving y'all fake comments here, which makes no sense, because we've been wrong this season on certain things.
Yeah. All right, let's get into tonight's episode 5, Coming Home to Roost. So the biggest thing starting off this episode, we're going to kind of go through the episode in order of events that happened tonight, even though some major things happened that we could obviously talk about right now. We're going to go through the order of the episode. So let's do it. So the first thing is Zeke is on the way to turn himself in, just to find out that he has been cleared of all charges. The biggest thing for me here is Kamal happens to be that I say that commentary for the show that a lot of the things I've been saying is a lot of the things he's kind of, or a lot of things I'm thinking is being mirrored by the things he is saying. And when it came down to Zeke happening to turn himself in, yes, they knew more about what the situation with the gun and whatnot, but it still never made sense for Zeke to do this and a motive for Zeke to behind the killing. So, you know, Whitman is just completely after him, which we know. Which the Whitman character, I'm a little bit confused about because it seems like he's so against Carrie, but now it seems like he's so against Zeke, and maybe he's against Zeke because he feels like that's going to hurt Carrie.
Yeah, he's against Zeke because he still believes Carrie is guilty. Like again, early on clearly in this season, from this episode. Before this episode, we kind of saw everything Whitman did, and we kind of was like, dude, you got a hard on, and none of your stuff is making sense here. Yeah. But then from this episode, damn it, everything he said was making perfectly good sense.
Yeah, that's how I was confused. Then, like last
Kamal becomes Kamal becomes the irrational one, and you're like, wait a minute. I did enjoy the switch though, because the switch kind of shows where both of these detectives are at.
Yeah,
where it's clear, as you brought it up last week, and I questioned it. Was Kamal brought in by his brother to do anything to oversee it? And I was like, nah, that can't be the case. But then miraculously, all of a sudden, he's pinpointed on Tariq at the same time that Tejada's going through things with Tariq. And I'm like, hey, that's a weird pinpoint there, without him having discussions possibly with his brother about that pinpoint. And then you got Whitman, who everything he said after having to let Zeke go, everything else he said about the way the case is breaking down would still make Zeke a prime suspect. And that's why I did like this scene, even though this scene also shows that cops are extremely petty and the DA's office is extremely petty. They did no press release. They found out all this information. They're like, no, we're going to let you come in, and we were loud when we brought you in, but we're going to be extremely quiet when we got to let you go. And I love that Dave was just like, no, I expect a full press release about everything to let you know you exonerated my client.
So yeah, he's free to go. So things are on the up and up for him. Back on campus, Brayden quickly has an interaction with Tariq, which this is something I saw a couple of people talking about, but I knew it was going to play out just like this. I mean, if an entire campus gets swept, and for somebody that's been on campus when things like this has happened, you know, whether it affects you or not, you hear the rumor of, hey, did you hear such and such room got ran in? Yep. And everybody get on lockdown because you just never know. But like that's what happened here, where Brayden ends up trying to tell Tariq, but Tariq is focused on bringing our girl Yas home, which I don't blame him. I don't got time for Brayden either. I need to get my girl Yas home, but that ends up backfiring eventually. We'll get to. But I was going to say this. Whoa. What did Brayden? I mean, Tariq did say we had to move this stuff, but
that's what I was about to say. Tariq told him, move everything to the roof, get everything out the room. So Tariq already had to go of removing all the drugs out of their room. As they said, I think that was a smart decision. And I think he listened to Brayden, but he was like, dude, I already know this information. Like, I'm on the bigger and better thing. I got other shit I need to take care of. But yes, move all the drugs out of here so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
He just didn't know about the other thing we'll discuss later on in the episode.
I
have questions about power.
Now, Monet ends up with Dante at the bar because she doesn't trust herself around him in hotel rooms. Like she said, off her fairy tale bullshit. But at this point is when Dante brings out the ultimatum. Two things. He said he ain't leaving New York unless he leaves with her. But he also says, I got a financial plan that not only gets you out because you're clearly still in the game. I mean, look at your clothes here. And this bar isn't supporting that life. But he said,
this ain't Natalie's from New York Undercover. This bar looks like it's struggling, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. But he said, I will get your kids out. Not with just Zeke. Funds. Yeah, with trust funds. I mean, he said, all you got to do is sign here. What's your thoughts about this? What's your thoughts about Mecca ultimate proposition here?
Mecca, Daniel, why are you doing this to us, brother? Why? Why? We don't do this. This is just as bad as when Nas made that song and said, check your Zelle, is a blessing in it. Stop doing this, man. You are setting standards that regular men can't reach. You talk about not only am I going to take care of the child we have together, but I'm going to set up trust funds for your kids with that other brother to get you out this game. Like, I'm not going to leave New York unless it's with you.
Yeah.
Dog, this nigga must literally Rain from an R&B song should have started playing the moment he said that to her, Joe. Like, again, all jokes aside, it is setting up an interesting dynamic here.
Yeah.
Because the point that Monet is already saying, I don't trust myself basically in certain environments with you because easily said, I care for you a lot. I want to say I love you, but it may be I love you, and I can't control myself around you in certain environments. So I'm going to go back to a place, one, not only that I'm completely comfortable with, that I think I have complete control over, but a place that's associated with the man I'm supposed to be with. Like, that was a hell of a move by her to attempt to do. But even in that environment, we still see she can't help it. Like, and that was interesting. Yeah. Granted, again, Mecca, dude, why? Why? Why you doing this to us, man? It's light skin dreams, man. He giving them light skin dreams out, Joe.
Going to the next thing. Now, here's what gets interesting. So we know that Kamal and Whitman are trying to figure out, because, you know, Kamal told Whitman last episode that, you know, he had to tell him about the things that's in the manuscript. But Carrie comes out and says it is about Tariq here. And while that's happening as well, too, Carrie also within the class lecture, the subject being karma, goes smack at Tariq with this. So the thing about this is that Carrie is hell-bent on Tariq, and with a lot of aggression. Like, she's like full-blown blinders on him. The interesting thing about this is that I don't think people remember, but like, why this manuscript is about Tariq, this is also Tariq's work here.
I'm happy. Look, I'm happy you pointed that out. Because a lot of people may forget that this is actually Tariq's work that Jabari stole from Tariq. Yeah. So, like, I'm so waiting for this to be revealed that Jabari stole this from Tariq. And people then having to realize, oh, so this is about Tariq. But then it also brings up a very interesting thing. I don't think Carrie necessarily went at Tariq so hard because she like, oh, this is clearly Tariq. She sees him as an out.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because she still believes that Zeke's family had Jabari killed. And Tariq is just a scapegoat. She could get Zeke off. She could do everything. And she can be safe and free as long as everything is pointed towards Tariq. And that's her goal here, is attempt to point it towards Tariq. But again, the whole time I'm watching that scene, I'm like, oh, when it's revealed that he stole that from Tariq, I want to see the reaction to everybody around, because that's going to be one of the big things coming up in the future episodes. Is it's going to have to come out he stole this from Tariq, because Tariq turned in a paper that he stole, that he graded. So again, yes, it's about Tariq because Tariq wrote the goddamn paper, but it can be about Tariq and still be fabricated to an extent. And the point that you're completely leaving out the white boy mentioned in it, or worse yet. And I wanted to ask you, I couldn't wait because we don't talk while we watching the episodes. So it was very interesting to me. Didn't Jenny put away Tejada?
Yeah.
How the hell wouldn't she put two and two together?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
This is Junior of the drug dealer I put away.
Yeah. I mean, to an extent, because she was involved with that initial case. That's how she knows. And when Tax figured that out in the previous episode, but it was ultimately the one person that the judge that said. So
yeah,
she has an involvement, so she should know.
Yes.
And I mean, in case anybody did not know, Kane, Lorenzo, Tejada Jr., which I was going to bring this up in the review tonight anyway, if they hadn't mentioned it, because I thought it was important for people to realize that he is the junior, even though he goes by the nickname of Kane. But yeah, Jenny is not giving much. She's not giving much from as much as she knows, which is interesting, because I don't want her just to be another DA. I don't want her to just be one of the Three Stooges at this point now. So the fact that there is something here, a little shady here, which when you bringing this up, makes you start to wonder, like, whose side is she on in this? You know,
what is she hiding?
What is she hiding?
She clearly could have put two and two together if she wasn't hiding something. So she clearly is hiding something. And I think that's, again, another thing that's set up that in the future we're gonna be like, okay, well, why the hell did this happen here? Why did it happen this way? But again, the biggest key part is, especially for people that don't remember season 1, that Jabari stole Tariq's work. So it kind of makes you wonder if they ever put this manuscript in front of Tariq with Davis there, Tariq's going to be able to say, "This is my work."
Yeah.
And at that point, it opens up a huge issue for them.
And not to mention that when they go through Jabari's stuff, because all of it's for evidence, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
this is literally Tariq's work." Wait a minute.
Also, really quickly, I want to bring on one thing about Jenny, is that also just thinking about the next episode with Lorenzo being out, Jenny's also going to be like, "Wait a minute, how
did this information get out?"
Yep. So we'll keep that on hold, but just know, I just feel like you bring up a good point that we're going to start seeing a lot more coming from Jenny instead of just being one of the other people within the office.
Instead of being Cooper's smash buddy.
Yeah,
we're going to get a lot more than that.
Exactly. So at this point now, Lauren tells Carrie she doesn't want to wear the wire, but Carrie believes, and then Carrie also mentions, talking about the manuscript, the preppy white boy is Brayden, and Lauren needs to get more info here. Now, I have to just remove my own knowledge about things, and I have to dumb myself down a little bit, because Lauren is a sheltered girl, and Courtney said it Courtney said it about her and Zeke, which if we could do a review for last week again, I absolutely would have brought this up about how we see how two kids being put under interrogation.
I think we brought that up.
Did we?
Yeah, because we kept on saying, like, we shouldn't expect much from them because they're responding like kids would respond in these situations. We can't treat them like adults here.
Exactly.
Yeah, we definitely brought that up.
She had a good quote about how Lauren parents never would have wanted, they never prepped her for this because they never saw her in this. And then Monet prepped Zeke in a sense to prevent him from ever being in this situation, which is why we see the responses from them being in interrogation play out the way they did. So with Lauren being in this situation, this is why we're getting her saying, "I don't want to do these things," but then still kind of actively being a part of it, which she doesn't realize that her being alive with Carrie is ultimately detrimental to Tariq. And if she known that, and like looking from the outside, you're just like, "Oh, Lauren is shady. She's doing Tariq wrong," but she doesn't realize it because she thinks she's helping him.
I would hope no one sees it that way, though. I saw it clearly as Carrie manipulating her to do whatever she can do to clear Zeke's name. And Lauren is holding it. Like, Lauren did everything humanly possible to make sure it wasn't Tariq. She was Lauren was a real one this episode, because she clearly attempted to point everything towards Kane. The moment 100%. She saw Brayden and Cane, she was going to put that connection together, that's the person that we need to be looking at here. But it's Carrie manipulating her from behind the scenes and saying, "Oh, we're past this moment. We've done it." Like, she's literally treating her like a perp and like Carrie's a cop, which again brings up the issue we had last episode. When did teachers start doing things of this nature? But it's clearly Carrie manipulating Lauren, and Lauren not necessarily knowing how to respond to it. Because again, it's a good point. I know we brought it up last episode. They're children. They're going to make these mistakes. You can't expect. We talk about it constantly with Tariq. Like, they're kids. They're gonna make these type of decisions at times.
Yeah.
So don't put on your adult blinders and think, oh, I would have done this differently. I would hope so. Because if you in your late 20s or early 30s and you still reacting the way that these children are reacting, it would be a problem.
Yeah, that brings up another thing really quickly too. So with Lauren at the pursuit to try to figure out if it's Brayden, because she wants to blame Brayden, she wants to blame anybody who's available. But let's think about this now. Brayden, who they debunked somewhere down later in the episode, why would it be him, etc. I gotta say this: Kane being in Brayden's room absolutely looks hot. Hot as I don't know what.
Completely hot.
Because she's like, who are you? Look, like he looks like he doesn't belong there. He's acting like
a drug dealer. There. You look like a drug dealer. Like, are you joking? But it also brings up an interesting question that I know we're not getting into it now, but it comes in later in the episode when Kamal finds the badge.
Oh, I already know where you're going with this.
Are you serious here? Like, literally, you pinpointing that it could be the white boy, and you go and attack the black boy instead of bringing in both of them together, because that would only make sense. But again, Lauren, to me, I love the progression of her and Tariq's relationship. I love that it showed in this episode. The interrogation scene kind of shows that she's willing to go what she thinks is the extra mile to protect Tariq, and not understanding that she's been manipulated by someone she trusts. Again, as we talked about with the manuscript, we got to go back to season 1. This was somebody who was invited over her parents' house. So this is somebody who she has a different type of connection with. So she's going to trust Carrie a lot, not understanding that everything Carrie is doing to her is self-serving.
Yeah. Yep. And to your point, with Kamal and Whitman listening to Kane on Lauren's wire here. I mean, let's just play this out, and we'll try to keep it central to what's happening right now in the episode before we get to the later parts. But like, if I'm a cop and you're a cop and we're listening to students on campus, and then you're like, there is a non-student in
the student's dorm room,
in the room of interest at that. Because you think it's Brayden before even doing the sweep. You think it's Brayden, which, by the way, why would this room have not been swept earlier? Why did they need authorization to sweep this room when they swept everybody else's?
That's why it didn't make fully sense. Unless you're saying because Brayden's a Weston that you have to go the extra mile.
I wish they would have said something like that.
Because other than that, it doesn't make sense. Because it would have been easily swept with everyone else's room.
Yeah, it had to have been something like that where they just didn't say it. And we'll go with that. I can live with that, saying that Brayden is lived to a higher regard. So you're not just walking in there.
White privilege. You're not just walking. You're not walking into a Weston's room like you run stuff.
But even still, it's like you have a non-student in a room of interest, and sure, he is related to Zeke, but he's not in Zeke's room.
But hold on, you have a non-student with a criminal record whose name is Tejada, and I'm assuming everyone should know, with his name being Tejada, and he's a junior who he's related to. So you're going to pull up this information to find out because you have his file. So you know who his father is. And then you're telling me you still come to the conclusion, oh, it's Tariq.
Oh boy. But anyway, at this point now, they're like, hey, we got to get a live wire on her. So that's just the next adventures of Lauren, the hot girl. Yeah, the legend of Lauren, the hot girl. Now, this is the part where I think everyone's going to be excited to talk about with tonight's episode. Tariq driving. Now, that's part of it, but Tariq is driving his girl Lauren's car.
Whoa, you got to go back. You got to go back first.
Oh yeah, I already know where you're going with this.
They played our boy dirty. So you got to go because that happened to him before he got in the car. So we at least got to not go into the scene yet of what happened, but let's just go to the point that Monet again drove Tariq somewhere and told him to get the fuck out the car.
Yeah, hold on. Are we at that point now?
That happened before he got.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, also two other things too. Freaky Zeke is back. He got a new hairdo. His whole swag is back up. Zeke whole demeanor's changed. I gotta tell you, he's acting his ass off. There's no ifs, ands, or buts at this point.
I know y'all think he is the meme king on this show because every expression he gives looks like he is just the slowest person in the world. But eventually y'all gonna have to realize he's just giving y'all a hell of a performance because he is playing Zeke as this just oblivious child who doesn't realize anything around him. Like, wait a minute, what does my cousin know?
Daniel Bellamy, he put on the performance. I mean, somebody in the live asked Courtney, why did they cast him?
What? See, but this is when y'all got to put two and two together here, man. Like, I understand it comes across at times when you see certain performances and you thinking that that's the actual person. That's not the actual person. He is portraying this character to a T because Zeke is supposed to be sheltered. He's not supposed to notice any of this stuff. His reaction should be this.
People are just ignorant. That's all that is.
But his boy and his cousins in the room with him, and you're telling me he's not putting two and two together. Like he says, hey,
well, that's the question.
Know each other?
No. That's the question here. Two things. Yeah, I forgot that Zeke didn't know about Drew and Everett's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But the other question is, they obviously are hiding it from him because if Zeke knew, that's problematic. I mean, which we find out later on the episode too, but they know also then Drew should not still be talking to Everett because Everett obviously
it's not, but it's problematic for Everett more than anything. It's not problematic that they're together. I think it's problematic for Everett that they're together.
It's kind of problematic for Drew as well too because they were basically when it came to the G2G thing, he kind of gave their names up.
Yeah, Everett gave both of their names up. But I don't think that's why. I think they're hiding the point.
But does Zeke know that? I forget. Zeke doesn't know this.
But I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is way more about Everett being gay. And that can't come out.
Forgot all about that. Yeah. Forgot all about that. Yeah.
That's the key part.
because he said to Drew in season 1 where like that could obviously affect anything
and everything.
Anything in his basketball relations, which is true.
And in this episode, when that scene happened, and Everett told Drew, "Well, you lied so quick," he said, "Would you like me to tell him the truth?"
Yeah.
Like I don't think Drew cares that people knows he's gay, but Everett can't have people know that right now, including Zeke.
Yeah. Now, you're right. Going back into the other thing. I mean, at this point now, Tariq just being left hanging is like a running joke, and they're just doing her wrong. But first of all, Monet with the new G-Wagon, that thing is nice. But Tariq is always getting the door opened up for him, and he's always getting kicked out and having to find his way home. But I think the interesting thing here is Monet is looking for more. She wants. She's out of control.
Is it out of control? That's an interesting word there.
No. She's not out of control in the sense of chaos. Out of control in the sense of she doesn't have control over what she thinks she has control of. She's being removed of control. Yeah. But not chaotic and out of control.
She's been kept in the dark about everything.
And it's not even just that. It's just that she doesn't really realize everything that's happening. I mean, Tariq says it verbatim later in the episode, but at this point now, she thinks the major conflict is just between Tariq and Kane because of them she's not knowing about the whole the murder and the gun and all that other stuff. So at this point now, she says, "Look, you need to regain my trust. We need each other," which is a super important piece of dialogue here. Says you need to find out about Kane. And then right after that, she tells Kane she needs to find out about Tariq.
It's playing both sides against the middle. It's a great tool in manipulating people, is that you go to two different people to tell them to spy on each other to find out because you're hoping both of them come back and get you the information you need. Yeah. Because she's thinking she's putting the pieces together here. But again, as you said later on in the episode, it's revealed to her, not only are you not putting all the pieces together, you've left key pieces off to the board that you don't know about. Yeah. But she brings that up when she talks to Mecca and says, "I've been slipping."
Yeah, we know it, and I like that because we said that last week that all of this, like she said, this fairy tale stuff, this thing has got her out of her game, and that's very true because love kind of does that to you. Kind of gets you off the rails a little bit here. So it's true, but I mean now it's and like you said, a lot of the stuff is coming to bite her in the ass, and as we see it, it's more and more of it. But like this is her trying to regain control, and she says, Tariq, I need you to find out who Kane Connect is. Kane, I need you to find out Tariq's
weaknesses. Yes.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know how Kane instant answer was his girlfriend. I mean,
because it's Kane.
Like, because he literally was just talking to her. So yeah, he tried to book her too. Kane is a nigga. Straight up.
Cold nigga. the moment he starts off with, hey, light skin, you knew then it's gonna go downhill from there.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where we see Tariq driving Lauren's car. I knew it off break.
And Lauren got money.
Man. I forgot about this before we even get there. Oh, we did skip a little bit, but we'll come back. Brayden got those bullet holes fixed in his car quickly
with no questions asked. How you got your car shot up?
Usually stuff like that get reported, but I mean I don't know.
White privilege. We black.
Yeah,
we would know nothing about being able to repair bullet holes in a Mercedes that fast. Like, come on now.
But she's driving Lauren's car, and he goes to spy on Kane after they're doing this change. Which, do you think Brayden was aware of this happening?
It comes across like he was.
It does. It really does.
I think he was aware that Tariq was going to follow Kane.
Yeah.
1,000% sure. He was aware that Tariq was following Kane here.
But if he did not know, does this also mean that Tariq has questions about Brayden now in terms of their...
Now, that's why I think Brayden knows, because I don't think it's in a position until the end of the episode where Tariq questions what Brayden knows. But at this point in the episode, though, I think he clearly thinks, that's my boy. I'm going to tell him, you go pick this up so I can follow Kane.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I go ahead.
I'm about to say, then we again, Lauren, again, you a real one. Like, you not only did you lend Tariq your car, but you lend him, that was a X1 for we forget that Lauren is technically a rich kid.
Yeah. No, we don't. We haven't forgot. We just brought it up last week. We didn't forget
about the Rolex. Look.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know why I expected him to pull out in the Camry on the court. Something simple. Not that car. Like that's a hell of a car to follow someone in.
I mean, it's normal. Again, for anybody in the DMV that listens to us, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you go down Georgetown, all those fools got good cars. So man, it's
a bunch of Maserati driving ass teenagers down there, Joe.
For real. But I know this is a scene that everybody was looking forward to, and that's when Tariq followed Kane tried to follow. So this is important, and let me articulate this whole scene real quick. So once Tariq got what he needed, I believe he got the name drop. He probably could have got the pen based on how he was recording, and he knew that Kane was taking product somewhere and everything. He got the address and all that. So at this point, he got everything he needed. He should have went, but he's young, so he thinks he can just do what he always does: throws his hood on and whatever else he was trying to do there. I don't know. Was he trying to go upstairs?
He was trying to put the pin in. He didn't know there was a camera above Kane. Yeah, which makes no sense because if you're recording it, you knew there was a camera above Kane.
He was just being young and ignorant. But then, Nuff came through and basically did what he was supposed to do. He saw some shit in there. Yeah, exactly. And Tariq lost his phone, and he, got a blackout and so on. And then, like, the important thing here is like the chef articulated and basically assessed the entire thing that happened with Nuff and Tariq, because the important thing here is that he wanted to make sure Mecca knew what happened, but he also felt that this random guy Tariq was following Kane, and he wanted to make sure, was he a part of the Mahoney crew, because everyone's forgetting, because not a lot of conversation are going on amongst the Facebook groups and whatnot, that there is another group out there that is still a threat to what Mecca and his operations are. So the chef is basically like, yo, Kane came up, then some random guys seem to be following him. Nuff roughed him up a little bit, but they don't know who he is. So Kane, do you know who this person is? Kane says no. Nuff does what he's, thought he should have done. But then Mecca said, well, we're not going to be out here just beating up civilians because that's bad on us. That's not a good look.
He said it bring too much heat down upon us that you're doing this to him without making sure you knew that he was part of this other crew. Yeah. And then we get to see the chef do what we have been waiting for the chef to do. Because we knew the moment he'd been on screen, we knew then chef ain't nobody to fuck with.
Exactly.
And I love the line that Mecca said when he said he talked way too much for somebody who was expendable.
Yep.
And because it sent, and I think he did it because he needed to send that message to Kane. I think Mecca clearly knew that Kane knows who that person is as much as the chef knew. That you clearly know who this kid is. And it ain't gonna be hard for Mecca to put two and two together because he still has. I don't think Mecca at this point seen a video.
And I'm trying to think, has Mecca not seen Tariq just yet?
He has not seen Tariq so far.
And either way, I mean, it starts to at some point.
But he's not crazy because he understands what Kane is currently going through with Tariq. And you didn't tell me this little black kid is following you. Who the hell else is it? He's probably like, oh, it's clearly Tariq. Because Monet clearly sent him after you to see who your connect was. Because as quick as Kane put it together, that was why Tariq was there. I'm pretty sure Mecca already knew. That's why Tariq is there.
So let me ask a quick question because I haven't asked anything to the audience tonight. Do you think it was the right decision for Kane to lie about not knowing who Tariq is? Or should he have been honest? What is your thoughts about that and how that played out? I should also mention to you all that this lying is never a good thing, folks, because, much like Carrie said about karma, it eventually catches up to you. So what could I possibly be talking about here? Well, let's not forget that Tariq just got arrested. And when he realizes that face, and he said, oh, that dude has got arrested for what? Oh, the same thing that Mecca just looked Kane dead in his face and said, you did it, and said nothing. I love the foreshadowing of that scene when Mecca says, of course you did it. You're not going to take the blame for no one else. Yeah, like that whole piece. And then again, when it comes out that this is Tariq St. Patrick in jail for these murders, and he puts two and two together, it becomes a trust issue with Kane. Yep. But not only a trust issue with Kane, it then becomes an issue because Mecca may see that Kane is playing games with Monet, which we already know he ain't for that at all. Yeah. I want to talk about that, but I feel like I forgot something else real quick. So before this, and I'm just going to quickly go through this really fast. We know that Tariq needs money in order to get an apartment. So he says, Diana, I need help, etc., etc. I can't go to Kane. I don't trust him. I can't go to Monet. And Monet shut down Course Correct right now, which I don't know why, but whatever. But we do know that Kane is the connect for Monet, etc. But the biggest thing here is that we hear what we already been very suspicious about with Diana. And when Tariq says he doesn't trust Kane, Diana's also like, I don't trust him either. And she puts the 1 and 2 together. The things we've been suspicious about that we figured she knew, but she verbally says it about the switching of the product. And obviously she wants to know what else is he up to, because he's been shady ever since he came back. And obviously since he came back in the family and switching the product, she knows there's more to everything she needs to know. But also Diana does something I did not see this I didn't see this playing out this way. And she went back and told Kane what Tariq is up to. It's almost like she's playing both sides here, but she clearly doesn't trust him. But I also think that as much as she doesn't trust him, she doesn't trust Monet amongst everybody, which means she needs Kane too. So what is Diana's game plan here? What's Diana's game plan?
To look out for Tariq, because that was her key goal here. but to also inform Kane, like, I have dirt on you if need be.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use it on you because I don't trust you. I think this episode, what she does is what everybody does in this episode, is that they are at the point of laying all their cards out.
Yeah.
This is what I got on you. What are you going to do about it? And that's what Diana did here with Kane, because it was a hell of a setup, because all you got to do is look at Kane's face when she says it. Like when she said, "Oh, but you're the one who stole the product and switched it for sugar."
Yeah.
His face gave him up the moment she said it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you, you make up a good point here. With everybody laying their cross out, this is a good build for a mid-season finale, which makes me think when we come back for episode 6, it's going to be almost like a soft reboot, because everything we know about right now has already been played. Yes. So what is going to be the big revelations going forward? Because there's still a lot of major things, which
we brought up some of them.
Yeah, for sure. But we also do know, like, the age thing, the hiding of the pregnancy, when Zeke finds out, there's a lot to still come for that. So it's just crazy how much, like, is being covered right now, and there's still so much more to go.
And we still ain't get to the end of this episode yet, because clearly it's 3 or 4 big revelations that we haven't talked about yet. That shows you how packed this episode is, that we are so far deep in this review, and we still have things we have not mentioned yet.
Yep. When Lorenzo gets a call from Sax and says, "Monet, I gotta take a call," she didn't like that, but hey, well deserved. That's that humble pie, because she's been kind of shady towards him, not coming to all their visits and whatnot. But it's funny because when she gets served up the same thing, she's like, "Dead ass." He's like, yeah, but we all know how this played out. But Sax, man. But it's also interesting that Sax took this.
But it's also interesting. One more part.
Sax is getting a check too. Go ahead.
One more part is very interesting. When he said, I'm the lawyer that your daughter retained," Lorenzo had to know where she got the money from. And yet he blatantly told Monet to go to the spot where he had to know Diana took the money from for his representation. I mean, because it wouldn't make any sense. He sees they're struggling for money and or product.
I mean, I think what I think about this is, yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to play that card when he needs to. When she gets the question, how did this happen? Let's think about this. Diana has been on the up and up as far as the family ranks. And then Kane, it's always like this. Mm-hmm. But when it's laid out that Diana was the one who orchestrated this, because of course Monet is going to say, how? Money this, money that, and this. And he's going to say, Diana, that's almost going to make Diana untouchable at this point now.
Does it? Because we already know Monet kind of knows what Diana did already.
Yeah, she knows now, but I mean, it's going to make her, it's going to make her untouchable, because Kane is going to be in hot water, because Kane is working with the other guy when they find out. But Lorenzo's not going to like that.
I mean, but I think eventually we're going to see Lorenzo may know who Zeke actually is. I think that's going to be a big revelation.
Well, either way, I mean, I'm not even worried about Zeke. I'm talking about other guy, Mecca.
No. I'm only bringing up Zeke because of the situation with the money. When she said, and he said, "Oh no, use the money at the bar for Zeke." When Diana had already taken the money, and if she retained him a lawyer, how the hell else did she get the money to retain him a lawyer?
No, but I'm saying I think he understands that. I think he knows that that's what happened. But I think that's going to make Monet mad. It's going to make her feel like she can't trust Diana, but it's not going to matter, because now with Lorenzo being home, he runs the family now. And he's going to say, you can't do nothing to her. Again, it's going to make her in a sense untouchable, regardless of what Monet's personal feelings are, because she did this by herself. She single-handed her, got her out of jail. When Monet was slipping and in fantasy love land and not worried about anything, she was the one, which she clearly lies to him to his face at the end, but we'll get there in a second. Let's keep going down the episode real quick. The next thing here is when Whitman and Kamal listen to The Wire now. Kamal asks Tariq about the book no one's read, and they realize that could be a motive here. I mean, this is just a little bit about what we said earlier, because of course Tariq knows what's happening, because
he wrote the book.
It's his shit.
It's his book. Like you're not hiding anything from him. Again, that's just something that sets up a big revelation for later on in the season when you find out that Jabari stole Tariq's work and attempted to sell it his own. Which technically, didn't he do that with his first book also with Carrie? Like he's known for stealing work.
So. 100%. And that's why Carrie's shady right now too. But yeah, this is when Jenny then proceeds to get the school to open up the door. But anyway, Tariq gets to the courthouse.
There we go, baby. Yes, we got to always talk about power.
Baby, yes, free our girl. Yes, she was on her way. Well, before he gets everything, because he had to get everything.
The conversation with him and Monet in the car.
Well, no, before that, before the court, he had to, we had to talk about Tariq getting everything in order to have his stuff together and take the court. Lauren, I said this. I said that Lauren was going to be the one to help him. I thought Lauren was going to open up her parents' place and like do something like that.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to be it. Not with her parents still there.
You think she would have had a problem?
Her parents? Yes, absolutely.
With Yaz living with them?
No, they'd had a problem because it's Tariq.
You don't think they like Tariq?
They don't like. We literally saw it in episode 1. What did his parents call him? Terrell?
Yeah.
They don't like Terrell.
Yeah.
Like he's the complete.
No, that's
opposite.
not what her parents called him. That's what Lauren called him from DC.
Yeah, exactly. But no, because he's just the complete opposite of the person they would want their daughter to be with. So I knew that wasn't an opportunity. I knew that wasn't a possibility. But I do like the way they set this up, even though I have way more questions. But it's power. I'm not going to ask those questions because to me, it's unnecessary and silly to ask, how did Lauren get a lease? How is it that she can put his lease as her brother's lease and that fly with a court? Like those things would be checked. Nope, it's power. We're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to pay attention that Lauren's a real one, and she gave Tariq a car. She gave Tariq an apartment.
She didn't give him a car. Don't say that.
She look. The first time we see Tariq drive is in Lauren's car.
Yeah, so she gave her a car. See, look, I got to control some of the sarcasm because you know how people now they hear one thing and they either 10 comments about how you're wrong or 15 comments about how it's right. And there's nothing.
If they don't pick up that was sarcasm.
No.
Of course she didn't give him a car, but she lent him her car. She got him a place for him and Yaz. But again, this just shows that Lauren is willing to do whatever it takes to help Tariq out because she truly cares and loves this boy.
Yeah, I will say this too. Lauren's Rolex is ticking a little loud to be a Rollie, but I would just leave it at that because they made sure they put emphasis on the ticking of
because Rolex is Rolex. For people out there that don't know, Rolexes do not tick.
Yeah.
So the point that this one is ticking is a problem.
Yep. But yeah, this is when Tariq now gets to the courthouse, and Monet pulls him into the car, and he gives up the information that he need to give her because she wasn't letting him go to make his court date.
He played the move that I think we've been waiting since this series started for him to truly say, which is, you don't have the power, you don't have the control here.
Yeah,
you need me. And when he goes down that litany of just revealing everything to her, you can see it drain out of her face when she realizes, like, I think it's a realization that Kane may have been partially right. Tariq has way too much power. Like, there's nothing you can do to him. But it also shows that your children are out of control.
Yeah, but also at the same time, before this scene, I even like the idea that Kane finally said the thing I've been waiting for him to say this entire series.
Am I your son or your soldier? And if I'm both, how fucked up of a mother are you that I'm both?
But not even that. When you realize that it's not Tariq that's
your
problem, it's Monet.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Everything that you've been going against in Tariq, you just been a pawn, sir.
Yeah.
And he put it together.
Yeah.
But hey, the biggest revelation with this is that Kane is wising up. So we're not going to keep getting this stupid Kane narrative anymore.
Especially with Lorenzo out, that stupid Kane narrative goes away.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. I know I'm jumping a little bit, but we're going to get back to that part. But that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see. Because when Lorenzo comes back, Lorenzo becomes the head again. Monet ain't second in charge if Lorenzo's the head. It's Kane. It ain't Monet. Like, that's going to be the interesting power dynamic here. But again, this scene with her and Tariq reveals that not only does she not have power over Tariq, you have no power with your children. Like, they have been living their best life without you.
Yeah. And I mean, this was also part of the scene where he had to give up information in order to regain her trust. You know, this is when he gives up Mecca's name and address. And she, you know, she's reluctant on letting him go in because, you know, this isn't good enough right now, which is interesting, but whatever. But yeah, she said the bombshell came out because she said Kane sugared the coat, Drew is still with Everett, Diana took the money from the bar, and yeah, like I said, her face dropped and let him go.
Not only that, he said, "You need me." Basically, I think it was a threat. Like, in all honesty, if you make me miss this appointment because you need me, I need my sister. If I cut all this shit off, your business is dead.
Yeah. Also, I think they both been saying this entire episode more ways than enough that they need each other. But they really need each other.
Tariq also said, all this been going on under your nose. You don't even know how course correct runs. What makes you think you can get rid of me?
Yeah,
like, it's a hell of a power move. But
we needed to hear that because Mecca made it seem like Tariq was expendable because he said if he had to pick between Kane and Tariq, make her choose you, but she can't because he's not just a corner boy. He's a revolutionary drug dealer, the digital era.
That's because Kane has put the picture in Mecca's head that Tariq is just a corner boy.
100%. But I tell you what, when Mecca finds out what Tariq is doing, I think he's gonna take him in. He's gonna be,
hey, what do I need you for, Kane? This young boy can do everything. I don't need you at all.
And like, we don't even see Mecca move yet. He has money, which tells me that the way he operates is on another tier of drug dealing that we haven't seen. So I think he will be fine. And I mean, let's get to the episode because I do want to say so. I want to talk a little bit about the second half, but I do want to say that when Mecca meets Tariq, that's going to be a super interesting. Yeah, and there's a couple of others I'm waiting here, but we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, this is when Tariq makes it inside. Daniel Warren speaks on his behalf, and Tariq gets temporary custody of Yaz. Free our girl Yaz. She's coming home
for all of 8 hours, maybe 4.
Yeah, because this is when Kamal and the cops goes into the dorm room and finds the bag.
Racially profiles Tariq.
Yeah,
because you can't explain it other than why the fuck is Tariq the only person being arrested? Like, that's his dorm room. That's literally Brayden's dorm room. Yeah, you like, nah, we're gonna leave the little white boy alone and we're gonna arrest you. When we acknowledge that in the book, we don't necessarily know who the black kid is, but we clear as day know who the white kid is in the book. Come on now. It makes no sense that both of them would have been arrested together.
Yeah. So again, he gets pimped for the Jabbar and the Ramirez.
Yes.
Saying Zeke is watching, which is interesting here. Because Zeke feels like, everything he went through was now because of Tariq. But maybe, I mean, what does Zeke actually think here is the question.
Zeke has seen Tariq around his family. So when is he going to put two? I think we're going to get to the point where he's going to put 2 and 2 together. And be like, oh, so maybe they had something to do with this. Because again, they've sheltered Zeke a lot and hidden everything from him.
Yeah.
But one person who's always had his back is Tariq.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting thing, along with what happens at the end with Tariq, which is something my goodness.
Yeah.
Are we at that point? Because I'm ready to talk about that.
Yeah, so now that Tariq is in jail, he gets a visitation from Daniel Warren again, and he gives him an envelope from his father, Ghost, who's still alive, because that's what all you all keep saying.
And with Tupac.
Courtney also addressed that in her live as well too, so go check that out. But the envelope comes from Ghost, and he's this is.
Was that even Ghost's voice? Because I was.
It wasn't. It was Tariq.
Was good. Yeah,
it was Tariq's voice. He says, "I know you will end up here, little nigga, right where you belong," and that's all. He held it for Tariq because he knew Tariq would get locked up for a homicide. What type of father are we talking about here?
Thank you. That's all. It's somebody to say. Ghost is a horrible dad. I know we've been through. He's not a good father. He's a horrible father. That your son gets arrested for homicide, and you said, "I always knew you would end up here, little nigga." Like, for real? That makes no sense. To put something like that would mean he would have no love for Tariq.
Wow.
In any way, shape, form, or fashion.
That's just wild. That's all that is. That's just wild. There's nothing else to say about that. That's just wild.
That was a hell of a letter. Because I'm expecting something. Keep your head up. Don't let the system get you down. Here's a check to fight your case. Something. Not I always knew you would end up here, little nigga.
Yo, make sure you restart the Queen's Child project, you know.
The penthouse is paid for. Go to the penthouse.
Anyway, let's go to the end of the episode, and that's where Monet makes her way home, and she hears a plethora of Spanish going on, just to find out that her husband has finally made it home. Lorenzo is there,
in the most Bamified Fendi sweatsuit, I want to say that was.
I don't know. I didn't even
it
look.
was Fendi or Fila. I wasn't sure which one. I was looking. A lot of F's on it. I wasn't sure. I'm assuming
he should be dated. He's just been in jail for a long time.
Oh no, it fit. It fit that he was in jail and he would pack that sweatsuit on when he got out of jail. Every nigga got that sweatsuit on when they get out of jail. That's like not the brand, but the material sweatsuit. Every nigga get that sweatsuit when they get out of jail.
But yeah, she returns home to find Lorenzo's home. Drew wonders, how did Monet keep this a secret? Monet claims that she did not want to ruin the surprise, but we all knew that if there's one person in the room that knew that was a lie,
it was Diana.
That was Diana. And also let it be known that while Kane may not have known about this, he was definitely suspicious. And I think he's not only suspicious about how did Lorenzo get home, but this is ultimately suspicious about Monet, period.
Exactly.
And this changes a lot. And let's just talk about going forward real quick. We'll spend a couple of minutes talk about our predictions or expectations going into the second half. Now, the first thing, and the reason why I wanted to shift is because the first thing is now, what does Kane go back and tell Mecca that his dad is home? And how does that change? Also,
boy, that changes everything.
Also, Lorenzo is going to want to know the state of the business. So, Kane, since you are the family's connect, because as he said in jail, he says, well, if Kane's the connect, then get more and forgive him and bring him back into the family. So now that he's back in, so where are you getting this from? I need to meet your guy. I'm the head now. I need to meet your guy. And when he meets his guy, how about this? Mecca. How about this? You said it. And I agree, but what if it doesn't go that way? What if he says, yeah, and Monet's going to come with me?
Yep. Me and your mother need to meet your connect.
All of us, as a family.
But here's the fucked up part. He will have to tell Mecca that. And if 100%. That happens, Mecca knows who his mother is. And boy, when that shit is revealed, we going to have a problem.
Yeah, listen.
Because Monet's going to have to play it slick.
No. Listen, there's a lot of issues here. Kane doesn't know Mecca and his mom's relationship. Monet doesn't know who the connect is. She also doesn't know that Kane knows Dante.
Yes.
Lorenzo doesn't know about any of them.
I thought about something though. He can ask Kane who the connect is, and Kane can say, he said, well, I at least need to know a name. If Kane says Mecca, that's all Monet needs. Because she knows Mecca from Tariq. That's the connect's name. And she'll put two and two together. And okay. So this is that person. And I think it's going to get to the point of her knowing that Dante is Mecca.
Yeah, because she still doesn't know. Yeah. But I mean, at some point, I don't think it's going to be one of those like, oh, I figured it out. I think it will be a meeting. Yeah. I think it will be a meeting. And this changes a lot. This changes I wonder where Diana fits in with this, because now Diana, I think, is going to get a little bit more responsibility, especially with the idea that Lorenzo feels like the family has been deceitful to one another, especially with the shenanigans that Monet. Matter of fact, that's where Diana fits in here. And she's gonna probably have Diana playing like a double agent, which she does best, because it's gonna be like, your mom didn't know I was coming home, but she acted like I did. Mm-hmm. I need you to keep an eye out on her. Where was she at? Why wasn't she home? And when Diana finds out, mm-hmm. Monet is with Mecca. And think about this: if Lorenzo meets Mecca on a 1-on-1, and it's just the deal, and that's just that. But when Diana finds out that Monet is with this Mecca person as a 1-on-1, and goes back and tells like, yeah, she was with the Connect too. Well, why would she be with the Connect? Wait, I thought you didn't know who the Connect was. And then, oh man.
But also, Lorenzo tends not to care much for Zeke. How you think that's going to play with Mecca?
I wouldn't put that out there.
Care meaning, no. Care meaning
it's not his priority. It's not his care.
Yes, that's what I mean. So he doesn't care much for him. You're not my child. This is supposed to. He said, "Mo, this is supposed to be your nephew." They've been together long enough. Normally, when he'd be like, "This is our nephew. Yeah, we need to take care of him." He said, "No, this is your nephew.
Yeah,
you need to handle this."
I don't think
we know where Monet's priority is, though.
Yeah, it's not where
Zeke is the way out. With Lorenzo back, Zeke ain't the way out of a business. He's not planning on leaving.
Yeah. Operations not starting.
How does that dynamic play out?
Also, I should have said this earlier, but when Tariq went to jail, obviously Davis McClain got that call. He's on his way. We know that Davis is making a lot of money, shall I say. He's going to do whatever he can to get Tariq out. But here, why did I bring that up? Because when Lorenzo finds out about how the operations run and how Tariq is such a adequate vital part to the success, mm-hmm. he's also going to make sure that he's taken care of. Which then, when he finds out about Tariq being locked, man, not looking good for Kane. Because this was Kane's doing.
But you think he'll blame Kane? I don't think so.
I don't think he'll blame Kane, but I think he'll know that Kane has something to do with it.
So do you think Lorenzo finds out about Tariq before Mecca does?
Because I think Lorenzo finds out about Tariq.
Because that's going to be the interesting part.
No, I think Mecca finds out by watching TV, mm-hmm. because it's part of a double murder, especially with a police officer, and you mm-hmm. know they love their PR. Mm-hmm. And I think Lorenzo finds out because when Monet explains how the business is, also Monet needs to know where Tariq is at
all times. She's going to have to get him out. She can't have Tariq in jail. Tariq is the only way you move product. Because I can see Kane attempting to tell them Brayden can do it.
Not at all.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think,
Kane, I can see Kane, because of the trust he's attempted to develop with Brayden, of him saying Tariq's in jail, you need to put me on to what y'all doing so we can continue this. And the question is, Brayden is loyal to Tariq, but business can't stop.
Yeah. I don't know. Folks, any other things we want to cover real quick before we get out of here?
No, that's the end of the episode. I think we're done at that point. Except for the David McClain, we did talk about him and his brother, because clearly he got dirt on himself also. For his brother saying, my goal is to keep you out of here. Like, what is Davis hiding? And will that be highly important to everything else that's going on?
Yeah. They're not just throwing these things out there for anything, because right now mm-hmm. Davis looks untouchable. So
yes,
there is something with that. I still think Jenny is going to be very interesting going mm-hmm. forward. She's clearly hiding something. I think that
the karma.
I was going to say Sax was really quiet this episode, which is never a Sax thing. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see if Sax will also be a vital part into.
Well, he is, because remember, he got Lorenzo out.
Yeah.
he is a key vital part about what's going on because Sax is going to end up representing Tariq. Already know how this is going to go.
Hold on. I just thought about that. Sax and Jenny pillow talking. We already know. And also when they find out about Lorenzo coming out, that's going to be a whole conversation. The next sex scene with Sax and Jenny is going to be very pivotal. Because because they're going to say, well, how did he get out? How did that information get out? Et cetera, et cetera. That's the first part. But the second part is Jenny was the one who initiated the cops to go back onto campus to go into that room.
Yep.
Which means that she knows about the badge being there. So when he takes that information back to Davis, who is the lawyer, and finds out, well, they're going to say, well, how did that get there? Why would somebody murder somebody but keep their badge?
And keep their badge in there? And
was it Planet? Why did y'all talk to him? Why not? I think everything you've been saying is what Davis is going to say.
Yep. Where's Brayden in all of this? Not only where's Brayden in all of this, supposedly you have a legal wiretap, which means both sides can get this evidence. You have Lorenzo Tejada Jr. in the same room as him.
Yeah.
Didn't Zeke pull out the PDA card?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Zeke's cousin? What's their connection to one another? Are we going to run this back to find out there was a connection between this cop and
the family?
And then what is that connection? Are we going to dig deeper and find out he was dealing with Monet?
Yeah.
Are we going to feel like it's so many? This is where I think it's going to play a very key part of when Monet told Carrie, whatever you're doing, stop it.
Yep.
Because Carrie is, again, still trying to save Zeke. Even though Monet told her to stop, and you're trying to save Zeke, if all of this comes out, it looks like it's 1,000% on Zeke.
Yeah.
Then what happens? Because eventually, go ahead.
It's something that she said, and it's made me forget that quick. But with and we forgot about the biggest thing for the first episode is Tate trying to get his seat back, and him going after whatever his name is, because he's only been for one episode.
Remember, and he's also going. He's trying to go through him, through the Westons with Brayden. Boy, if you think I can get dirt on your son and use that to my advantage, because the family name is enough to damage him. So if you don't think Tate's going to push and make it look like this white family with this white connection is setting up this young black boy who just lost his father for some of the things of this. Boy, that's a hell of a setup there.
Listen, and this ain't a reach, because if you thought that Power doesn't pull out these type of conventions within storytelling, they just did it with Zeke, where they said, "Oh, it seems really really telling, convenient that you're going after this black young athlete, huh?" So yeah, there's a lot of crazy things.
Also, the key part that I was about to say is also, if all of this happens with Zeke, always remember Monet literally just gave Mecca permission to see Zeke, which means she is prepared to tell Zeke that I'm your mother and he's your father. What happens? Or you never know. Maybe Mecca's his father, but Monet took custody of him. You just don't know how this is going to work out. It's going to be a very interesting thing to see how this works out. Again, as Courtney said, be patient there. But again, this is a very interesting dynamic here, because if it ever gets pointed back to Zeke with Lorenzo out, if you think Mecca's going to care at that point, he is not.
Not at all. My man said he's not leaving New York without her, and he meant it. He meant it. Well, that would do it for tonight. This would do it for episode 5, the mid-season finale. We will not be back until January 6th, but we are talking and discussing some other potential Power coverage and stuff for you all. So stay tuned for that. Jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode, all the craziness. Give us your theories going into the second half of this show. We got 2 weeks until we get to that next episode. So you got time to lay all of the theories you want down there. And if you're trolling, I'll be trolling too. Forget it. I'm gonna
have to come in them comments and troll some people.
Yeah, clearly.
I find humor in it, but
I'll be
wilding down.
I'll be going wild in the Facebook groups now. I don't even care. I just the trolling. Like I gotta say, I put up a comment and said, "Who do y'all think is Zeke's son?" I said, "Do y'all think it's Famous or Lulu?" And everybody was like, "It's definitely Famous because streets need a body."
Wait a minute, not Zeke's son.
Yes, I say Zeke's son. I wouldn't ultimate troll because people were just saying silly stuff. I was like, man, let me see what comments I can get approved by the admins on there, and they approved it. So
wow, who's Zeke's son? So no one puts 2 and 2 together. That is humanly impossible for that to be the case.
I'm telling you, man, it's wild.
And instead of saying who's Zeke's real father.
Yeah, I know. We already went over that. So they already burnt that one out. So I had to go something even wilder. So
oh man,
that's it.
Street life.
Anyway, folks, we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks, and stay tuned for more power review and coverage very soon. Big gold bell.